Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon all of you, my fellow learners, professionals, ladies, gentlemen. As you can see on the slide itself, this is a common thing that comes up, when I have a general chat with my students. What are value adding and non value adding activities? So, the focus of this video is really going to be trying to understand what exactly non value adding activities are, because we generally say, right, things we do have to add value. So it's primarily even in a business. The modern concept is you run a business, you manage a business in a way that adds value to the people, the shareholders, to the customers, to the government, etc. But it's also very true to our personal lives and our professional lives, the way we live. The activities that we undertake must add value to us, right? If not, we are in danger. So that's what I want to try and figure out, and kind of present to you my opinion about what exactly non-value adding activities are. So maybe you can really think about whether you are engaged in any such activities, and take steps toward diminishing and reducing and correcting. Yes, I've over the years I've had my own share of experiences with non-value adding activities, and when I started stopping them, and when I really started getting out of those non-value adding habits, my life started to become, it really started to change, you know in a really good way. So that's what I want to explore. Let's take a look. It's a very simple concept, actually. Okay, so I'm actually going to present this to you in two facets, two approaches. One is most things in excess, right? There is a saying, have you heard, uh, too much of anything is good for nothing? Have you heard this? I'm sure you have at some point in your life, right? Too much of anything is good for nothing. It's true, right? Let's say, you love chocolate, but on a given day you decide, okay, you can only eat one bar of chocolate, but you decide you're going to try 15. I assure you, by the end of the 15th, I'm not sure even if you'll be able to get to the 15th bar, because I've tried it. And then I took a hiatus of about 12 years of not eating chocolate in my life ever again. I kind of broke that a few years ago because it was just too much. So too much of anything is really good for nothing. And let's try and understand what kind of examples that we have or we come across in modern day, like social media browsing, your Facebook, your Twitter, your uh, Instagram. So you browse your social media, maybe YouTube, as not as sort of like a content creator, but you actively engage with YouTube, just purely watching content. Now in that sense also, social media browsing, if you do it too much, I really think that your personal social media browsing should either be limited to maybe a couple of hours maximum a week, or maybe about 10 minutes a day if possible. And imagine that. Imagine being on Facebook 10 minutes a day. Do you think it's possible? If so, please do so. Watching YouTube, as I said, irresponsible behavior. So I want to quickly touch on this concept a little bit. We are all, as human beings, right? You have different roles to play. You're a son, you're a mother, you're a father, you're a brother, you're a student, you're a teacher, you have a job, you're a specialist, you're a executive, you're an accountant. So in these different roles, you're a human being ultimately. But in these different roles, you have responsibilities. Okay. So the responsibilities are very, very important. Undertaking and enacting, doing, committing to those responsibilities. Now, if you are irresponsible, which means you're not doing your responsibilities, you're not really taking them over, and other people have to do your work, your responsibilities, that, sure, people will tolerate it. Especially your parents, they are always very loving and caring. So even when you're irresponsible, they do everything that needs to be done, right? You can just sit in your room and everything will happen around you. The food will come, everything, you'll literally be taken care of. It's something very common I see in Sri Lanka. So that is very non-value adding, because it's irresponsible behavior. We all have to understand the extent to which we have responsibilities toward our parents, toward our society, toward our community, our village, our town, our learners, our brothers, our friends, our siblings, and we have to try and do our best. Do our best. That's all. So try to be responsible to the best of your ability. You'll fall short, you'll not be able to make everyone happy all the time. That's okay, but trying is very important. If you do too much, if you be responsible too much, you're in trouble. That's very non-value adding. Time spent on the phone. So apart from social media itself, the mobile phone is a very dangerous tool. It's a very effective tool as well to get a lot of things done, but also there's a big dark side to it. So you have to be careful about it. I would say, you're trying to track the amount of time you spend on your mobile phone, and literally I believe out of the 24 hours, maximum in a worst case, I would not recommend you spending beyond like 2 hours on the smartphone, right? But if it's like 30 minutes, 1 hour with the phone calls and the essential things that you do, the most important things, that would be ideal, right? So think about the time you spend on that screen, on that little screen. Time spent on entertainment, that is just partly like my experience. I used to be someone, there was a time period in my life where I spent a lot of time watching a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows. And today, when I look back, I wish that I had given more time maybe to create some content, not completely stop, not stop watching movies. But if I was watching, 5 movies a day, I could have cut it down to about 3 and spent some of the time, doing something creative, applying what I was learning from those movies, etc. Right? Things would have been much different, maybe I would have been an actor, but regardless, too much of anything, right? Aimless procrastination. So that's a idea where you're just wasting time. You're either just idling, aimless. So sometimes you take a break. Let's say you've done a lot of work, you're really busy, you pulled off like 4 hours of continuous work and effort, now you're really tired. So then sure, procrastinate, just for the sake of taking a break, you go, you chill out, you spend some time without worrying too much. Sure, that's okay. But aimlessly, just purely without anything, without any purpose, just idling, because it can become a habit. And if it becomes a habit ingrained inside you, you're putting not only yourself, but a lot of other people around you in trouble. Right? You don't really want to be a weight and a nuisance to other people, do you? So aimless procrastination can be very dangerous, excessively. Again, this is all excessive. Spending time in isolation. So this is another example I'm bringing from my personal experience. There was a time period in my life where I was alone. I was literally alone. Thankfully, I had my job, so I was continuously working. But other than that, I was away from my family, and my friends literally kind of everyone had gotten married, and so they had their lives, and I was stuck in my apartment for days at times. When you're not having work and all that, and my life was okay, but still, I felt like okay, spending one full day, continuously, maybe every week, alone, purely alone, can be a little, if you do it too much, it can be, because human beings are not geared or wired to spend time alone. That's why we have family. I mean, we don't drop out of the sky, right? That's why the design is that we come into the world with either a community or with our parents, right? Unless you are an orphan, you have parents, and then you have immediate family, you have brothers, sisters. Even if you're an orphan, there's a system by design of how the world has been created. There are always people around you, at least other orphans. You are supposed to be with other people. So if you're someone who's spending a lot of time in isolation, at least make a call, talk to people, talk to friends, be with your family, make that connection. So these things, if you do in excess, if you overdo these things, these can be very, very dangerous, and these are just a few examples. But in general, the rule is anything or too much of anything is really good for nothing. Let's take a look at the other aspect. Anything wrong. So that's a very simple, very straightforward idea. Anything wrong is non-value adding, like lying, stealing, cheating, dividing people. When you have the chance to bring people together, you say something, you divide people. You try to break the relationship. Disrupting peace can be very, very dangerous and very, very wrong. So if there's a peaceful Like there is a hadith in Islam by the Prophet who has said there is one occasion where you can lie, where it's okay to lie, and that is to bring peace. Like if you can use a lie to bring people together, to bring peace, to create peace in a situation, what we call salam, do it. Other than that, don't lie. Imagine that, imagine the power of that, power of saying that hadith, that story. So peace is very important. If you're by some way, if you're disrupting peace, creating chaos, that can be very wrong and very non-value adding. Stealing, that's a repeat there, murder. So basically wrongful things. Don't do any wrongful things, because righteousness and virtue are very important qualities of all human beings. We need to take care of these aspects in our life. Now, so basically too much of anything and wrong things are the things that I present to you as of now, as of today, as non-value adding. Along with that, I want to kind of address a misconception, and that is that there is no rule that says that value adding activities are not fun. So sometimes, when I say non-value adding activities, people think, okay, he's asking us to do value adding. No, but that's so boring. I mean, come on, value adding seems so boring. I mean, what, like it's like there is no, the fun element is not there. That's not true. It isn't. If you play game of chess, if you play cricket, right, if you play football, if you spend time with your family, you're talking, you're having a chat, you're making fun of each other, you're spending time with your family. These are all very, very fun activities. You're spending time with your friends, you go on a trip, right? You go on a holiday, you go on a vacation. These are very happy, very beautiful, very important things that are value adding and fun. So don't think if someone, any teacher of yours, a lecturer of yours, your parents, ask you to do something good, don't think like, do you know that even exercising, which people hate a lot, people hate exercising, but people love the feeling they get after exercising, how they feel, all the endorphins and the hormones and everything really makes people feel really good. Okay, so value adding things are very, very fun and very, very happiness inducing. So don't get caught to this misconception. Don't ever think that the value adding things that you can do are unhappy and boring. It's not the case. Don't let people tell you otherwise. All right. So on that note, I hope I've clarified what value adding or rather non-value adding activities are. As you know, I am providing career guidance and mentoring services to young professionals and students. So if you have any questions and queries, you want to kind of discuss, you want someone honest to engage with and get some advice about your life, about your studies, about your career, what to do, what next, etc., you can reach out to me via email or the link below. The email is azman.branuddin@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope it has been informative. That is non-value adding activities and how you recognize them so you can eliminate them from your life, but be fun as well. God bless you and may peace be upon all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.